Learn to be super successful. Subscribe to my channel, Meathead. But, I mean, what are the takeaways of the boxing?
Getting punched in the nuts really hurts.
Yeah. Well, I could have told you that without you having had it done.
It's as good as getting.
Yeah. But it looked like Crouching Tiger. When he's down, squatted down like this. I kept expecting him to lunge up in the air and float. What else are the takeaways from the boxing?
Just keep swinging.
Come out hard.
Yeah. Now, and with one round, instead of feeling them out and doing all this shit like 3 or 4 rounds, one round it's hell bent for leather. And which has demonstrated by most of you guys, and but I mean, it's cold calling is not worse than the worst punch you took in there. Having been punched in the face and knocked out, and having made a jillion cold calls, I can tell you, the cold call is a lot fucking easier. My feet up on my desk like this, and now you got all this software shit that you can. I used to run they used to call it a boiler room, but now you would call it a call center. And I used to ask, I'd have 400 or 500 kids, and I'd say, what hand do you wipe your bottom with? And then I'd go and I'd masking tape the phone to that hand. Masking tape. And I used to sit up on a table about a little higher than this, and I'd look down at the 400 or 500. And if I didn't see, we had real bright lights. If I didn't see the glitter off that gray masking tape, boom, I was on you like the Flash. What the fuck's wrong with you? We're not here to bullshit. And they used to have to raise their other hand to have permission to go to the bathroom. Now, you can't do that shit now. This was in the good old days. This was in the 70s. And but cold calls, and as you heard Churchill, amongst others, after you make 200 or 300 cold calls, it's no big deal because you become sensitized. In other words, your skin I don't know if it grows thicker, but you become immune to some of the abuse and the rejection. Some rejection you're never going to be immune to. When a loved one tells you to fuck off, I'm sleeping with a milkman, I don't give a fuck how, there's some things you can't assimilate. You can't assimilate. And then, of course, metaphorically speaking, you want to choke her, but no, you don't do that. Metaphorically speaking, you just say, you broke my heart, honey, and I'm going to have to leave, What else about boxing? Come on, Doc, you were I wish your patience could see you.
1 minute under that kind of pressure is an eternity.
Yeah. Right.
So, a 1 hour board meeting with somebody being a bitch,
it's easy.
That's
Correct.
exhausting.
Correct.
And it's frightening for some people to do that.
Yeah. I used to be on a board of a health company years ago, and there were 4 or 5 ex-prize fighters on the board. It was just mixed martial artists and fighters. And we had one sumo guy, big guy. And when they'd get drunked up, the warrior in them used to come out. I never liked your ass anyway, But you're right. 1 minute is an eternity, and nothing that I'll demand from you in the weeks and months to come will not even be anything near this drastic. And it is drastic. We're dropping you in the deep end. Yes, sir.
The other thing, too, is when you get in there, you're committed. And you're committed in front of a lot of people, and you need to finish the fucking round.
Correct.
Because if you walk away, you've quit.
Yeah. And we apparently we have, other than a bloody nose, beating up a girl, we have no injuries, although some of you at dinner, when you come in and your arms tied with a towel and stuff like that, because we've had that. Yes, sir.
So as an observer, I would say the takeaway for all of you is you're more aggressive than you probably give yourselves credit for.
Thank you. That's my closing line, but you just stole it from me. But you're absolutely right. And I, especially the most classic example is the Doc.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't say shit all week. Oh, yeah. And then all of a sudden, there was aggression in that skinny body over there. And several of you showed real aggression. That's you. We all came from, cavemen sometime. And if we wanted something, we just took it, right? You still have that DNA way down deep, but you still got it. And when I pull you even 5 or 10% closer to my end of the continuum, you'll do fine. You'll just do fine. It's all right to be aggressive, and it's all right to be selfish. And the aggression in you, and once you learn that you can put out some aggression, and the police don't come, or you put out some aggression, and the board just all get up and leave, then you'll learn how to push a little farther. But I mean, the most successful guys run these companies like fiefdoms. Even in today's PC environment, they're kingdoms. It's my way or the fucking highway. And of course now there's corporate governance and all that's great. But by the time I got thrown out, arguably on the corporate governance deal, but I wasn't. They called it that. But by the time you get a company big enough to get thrown out, you're already be super rich. It doesn't make a shit. And if you follow the steps, you'll get thrown out with a lot of money. Your pockets, you'll be filling up dump trucks, lorries, pickup trucks with cash. And that's okay. That's okay. Now, some of you that say that I don't mind getting thrown out as long as I walk away with a lot of money, are lying to yourself, because it fucking hurts. Okay. Sally is hurt more about me getting thrown out than I was. I went home. I had half a bottle of malt whiskey. I watched TV for the first time in years and years and years. They had a news I didn't know they had news at 4 o'clock. I didn't know they had 4 o'clock news, at 5 o'clock news. I watched the news at 4 o'clock, and I thought about it, and that was it. The next morning I woke up. I wasn't hurt. I was pissed, because a lot of guys that I made rich fucked me. Like Brutus. Caesar. Hey, tu, Brute. Boom. And then, 18 or 20 of the senators stabbed him to death. But I walked away with a lot of money. I'm not complaining. Nobody's feeling sorry for me. But it's still, it shows you inhumanity's demand. No matter how much money I made the other directors, because they all got rich off it, they were still able to toss me under the bus. And that's a good lesson, because you're no different. You're in no different position. No different position. But as long as you walk away, convince yourself, Doc, it's all right to get thrown out as long as you have a lot of money. And your little peelies, as my kids used to say, won't be hurt. But it does. And once you've been, thrown under the bus more than once, you get scar tissue. You're not as surprised. But the first time you get thrown under the bus, you will be, not me. Peña, he's got a loud mouth. That's why he got thrown out, but not me. What else about, yes, sir?
I would say the adrenaline, if that's what a deal feels like, it'd be very addicting.
You're taking all my punchlines. Yes, that's correct. It becomes addictive. I mean, you want the thrill of the hunt. I mean, and when you get up and you've got a $150 million company, and you've got an acquisition team, then not just the board, but a team, you've got to throw them meat, because these guys get paid. They're getting paid on the deals. And if you're not doing deals, they're not making big money. And any M&A guy worth his salt now is making $2 or $3 million a year, because he's going to organizations that are doing deals, or not around the clock, but almost around the clock. But it is addictive, believe me. And I didn't get addicted. Some of you that have been not in the limelight before, or the eye of the tiger, will get addicted to the smoke being blown up your ass. How smart you are, and you're this and you're that. Some of the kids like that. I didn't need that. But if you've never really had a lot of accolades powered on you, a lot of compliments, it becomes addictive. But the most important thing, if you're thrown out with a shit pot of money. And then you do it again. And as Sally would say, I've been thrown out of 3 big organizations, 2 of which I founded. And so there's something about my personality, according to Sally, There's something about my personality that is a recipe for ultimately going to get thrown out. But all the companies were successful. We made a lot of money, more than probably we should have. What else? Anything else about boxing? And your, we're not going to talk about your skills. A few of you have some skills, but that's not the point. The point is not that you have some skills, some of you. The point is that, that you did it. And it is an addiction. It can be an addiction. There was a study done, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago. I want to say Bain & Co. did it. I'm not sure if it was them, that the guys, not the private equity guys so much, but the other guys, on the more aggressive end of the equity spectrum, they just they jump from deal to deal to deal. And as I told you, I'm a transaction junkie, so it's the thrill of the deal. I don't give a shit what it's involved in. I like the thrill of the hunt. I like getting involved when you're down there on the 5-yard line and punching it in, and then moving on to the next deal. Bruce Whipple, who's cleaned up a lot of deals for me over the years, he comes in and sets up operations and the shut that I know something about, but I'm not anywhere near as talented as a guy like Whipple is, and I don't have that experience because although I've walked around the plants with watchmen, I've been on assembly lines. I actually know how to weld, so I've been in the welding line, but it's addictive. And what else is addictive is the success that comes with it vis-a-vis money and what you can buy. And hardly anybody that I've ever trained hasn't gone crazy. Spending money, I mean. I've had a couple go crazy, but I mean, buying shit that you don't need. I had 19 cars. I don't drive. That which is just the irony on top of that. And Sally keeps buying me cars that I don't drive. When we were down at the looking at the Flying Spur, and they wanted to know if I wanted to sit behind the drivers. Why? I'm not going to be up there. I mean, they wanted to know if I had enough legroom. Doesn't make a shit if I had enough legroom or not. And yeah, and it is addictive. And then you go through a period of spending money like Monopoly money. And no matter how many times I tell you not to do it, you still go out and do it. Cars, wine, women, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Hopefully without the drugs. And you just go bananas. Because it's the first time, when I say free cash flow, that's free cash flow to pay you. For most of you in your lives, it's the first time you've had gobs of money at your discretion with nobody to tell you not to spend it. But the rule is, you got to do what's right for the shareholders, and you're just one of the shareholders. So the boards keep you honest. And so I've got kids that only have board meetings every 3 years because they don't want to be accountable to the board for, But you should have regular board meetings because corporate governance is the surest way to get in trouble now. The surest way. I couldn't be the CEO of a public company today. If you think Elon Musk does crazy shit as a CEO of a public, he's mild compared to, I tell the shareholder, fuck off. You don't like it? I'll walk out. The share price will be $5 tomorrow. And Mr. Musk, at least, I agree with a lot of shit you do, but you're not anywhere near as crazy as I am. And so the good news is, and once you've run through the cycle or a cycle and a half, it becomes easier. But when interest rates do go up again, and they are, and the market collapses, which it will, you're going to be running around picking off companies, again, like shooting fish in a barrel, a bad metaphor, or taking candy from a baby. Because universally, almost everybody makes bad decisions under pressure. Almost everybody makes bad decisions under pressure. And so they'll do things that are in our best interest, way in our best interest, and detrimental to their interest, and they'll just make the decision willy-nilly because they want to get some cash out. We can buy assets, or not, the cash flow streams for 10, 20 cents on the dollar. And then it becomes, as Sally would say, it's fun. We took over a company 20 years ago now, and it was running a deficit $350,000 a month negative. The bank has hired us, a big bank, And we turned it around in 45 days, and the bank wanted to know, how could you turn around a drain of $400K a month in 45 days? Sally fired 75% of the employees. So that went to the bottom line, and all of a sudden we were cash flow positive. Easy. Not many people would do that. And they were all programmers, software bullshit, jerk-offs, coders. I mean, you can buy coders or a dime. If docs are a dime a dozen, people that write code are a penny a dozen. And tonight, who's my 5:30? 6:30. Okay, we're eating in the pavilion. It's a special. I forget what it is. It's something in the pavilion. Go back, for those of you, almost all of you, go back and redress. And I will see you. And if there's no more questions, the only homework you have tonight is the movie. Tomorrow night we start stacking up with more homework, but not tonight. I want you to rest up. You've expended your energies.
So the homework is not a write-up.
No, it is a write-up. It's just the movie. And because you're going to be tonight in the pub on your own, I know better than to assign a lot. I've been on to this rodeo before. And then all I do is scream and yell because either the homework is horse shit or you come in here at 10 o'clock in the morning because you're trying to get sober. So tonight is just a movie. And I know this group will be all different because you're all mature, I'm sure. But we'll see who's sucking suds at the bar later tonight. Okay, guys, thank you.